Beep, 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 beep.
Ladies and gentlemen, begin the countdown. Wait, I didn't push start yet.
It's,
just
it's
have an
okay.
extra couple seconds.
It's okay because I broke my microphone.
Oh,
feel like
no,
we're
this
in-
is not a good start already.
No,
I feel like we're in
There, we have
space.
a minute now.
Okay, wait, 1 minute for me to break my mic.
Podcast in space.
Yums.
By the way, I might have a concussion, actually.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Where?
You get
On your
questions in one
head.
place, yeah.
Well, okay.
My foot.
So,
In his head.
how'd you stub your foot?
I
bruise-
got
it's a
hit
bruise
in
in
the
the
head hard, really hard yesterday.
So your foot was in your mouth and you hit your head.
Every once in a while, a podcast comes along that dares to challenge truth, reality, and sobriety. It's time to grab a six-pack, put on your tinfoil hats, and prepare yourself for the Conspiracy Power Hour with your crocked co-conspirators Stephen Gladney and Brent D. Bazinski.
And shot.
Here we go.
Hello, friends. Welcome to the Conspiracy Power Hour.
Welcome indeed.
Episode number 7.
The 7th up?
Yeah, the 7th.
We're getting there.
Lucky
We're
number
making
7.
some progress
Magic
here.
number
We're moving along.
Mm-hmm.
What did, hey,
Yeah.
who do we have with us today,
A
Steve?
special bartender today. Might I introduce Marsha L. Law, who actually does work for FEMA, the topic of conversation today. We
not
actually
my
have
real name.
a reputable source of information for once.
And you and Marsha have a romantic history of sorts?
Wasn't going to go there, but now you did it.
It wasn't very romantic.
Okay, well, you guys dated.
No, we didn't date. We went on a date.
So you guys went on a date.
We went on a date, and then
Back in
we
the day.
literally never contacted each other ever again.
That's not technically true because you were my TA in my improv class at Dad's Garage.
Okay, that's okay.
That's
okay.
teaching
okay.
assistant, I
Hear
hope.
me out. Hear me out.
Shot.
Fuck. This goes fast.
Oh, just wait.
Yeah.
So,
No,
But now you're engaged. Congratulations, by the way.
Oh,
Thank
yeah.
you. Thank you.
Was Steven's beard as large as it is now?
yeah, it was about the same size, maybe a little bit shorter.
Well, then,
It
I
is actually
totally
really large.
I want
understand
to
your
clear
decision.
the record, though. Okay, so we went on a date. Then we never intentionally contacted each other ever
Okay,
again.
it was a mutual, let's just not
It
talk
was,
again.
I guess so. Stephen, what went wrong?
Let's leave it at that.
What went wrong?
Nope, let's
Stephen?
just go.
Okay.
Moving on.
So anyway, then fast forward like a year later, and I had already done a bunch of improv classes at Dad's Garage, and I was asked to TA or teacher's assistant.
Teacher's assistant, yes.
For a class at Dad's Garage, and I walk in, and Stephen is one of the students in that
Yep.
class.
Oh,
This is
my.
all true.
Yeah.
100% true.
Dad's Garage being the improv theater in
Yeah,
town.
exactly.
Great
And,
local theater company, might I add.
Wonderful.
Yep.
And what's funny is that I kept that to myself for a long, long time.
Oh, the class knew. I told them.
Yeah, I know
You told
that,
the
Stephen.
first day, huh?
So the thing is, I waited.
Strictly for comedic
I
purposes.
waited
though.
months. I waited months, and then I confided in one girl, and I was like, "By the way, Stephen and I went on a date one time," and she was like, "Everyone knows."
We should probably move on.
Oh, so
Yeah.
the
I'm
joke
getting very
was on
uncomfortable with this.
Steven.
Whatever. No, you're not.
Well, you made some good decisions in your life, I see.
I
Doing
damn.
improv and working for a prominent
It-
government organization.
Some people would regard that as a good decision. Yes.
Yeah.
So you guys, we're gonna recap from the last episode.
Yeah.
I
Normally
want to
we
hear
do
about
that right about now.
What did
Yeah, I
we-
want to hear about
that
that.
was the harp one.
We did HARP. Yep.
Harpe Diem.
I got some.
HARP ADM.
I got some.
We're big on acronyms right now. We did HARP and now FEMA.
Yeah. I mean, I'm all into acronyms.
I can tell.
You just wait.
All right, so we got some feedback from last episode, right?
Okay. What'd you hear?
We got our first fan mail,
Oh, mail?
which was, well, not, actual mail. It was a Facebook message
Ah.
from, we'll just leave his first name. It's Tony.
Tony.
Gave some great advice. My favorite being, we should, and I quote, gather our craniums from our anal cavities.
Uh-huh.
So he's a big fan.
Well, then what do we do with them?
He didn't
How
get that
about
far.
Tony
I
just
guess-
move the fuck on?
I guess
Well,
we should probably wash our hands immediately after.
that's not a bad idea.
So yeah, that's great. So that was on Face Crap. Where did you find it? Oh, well, good for it.
It came in like today, actually, I think, or yesterday. I don't know.
Good for that.
I'm gonna check it. Also, we got our first iTunes review.
Get the F out. Really?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't.
So was it nice?
He or she must have been really bored.
Or were they drunk?
Probably. So thank you to YG999 is the username.
that's,
I have no idea what that means, but
It's a dirty
But
joke.
he or she gave us 5 out of 5 stars. So thank you, whoever you are.
Rock on.
Also,
Very
to everyone else, please write us reviews. It helps us a lot in the show.
Yeah.
It really does.
For our retirement plan.
That's true.
Woo. Okie dokie. Yeah. So Marsha here has some credentials.
Hi.
So how long have you been working for FEMA?
3 years.
Okay. What capacity?
Well, okay, so I work at the regional office, which anybody who feels like Googling is going to find out that this podcast is recorded in Atlanta, which means I work.
Wow. See, we weren't gonna. Okay, you blew that. That's your fault.
It's pretty obvious by now.
Yeah. So I work at the regional office here. Regional office covers 8 states. It's Florida, Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Alabama, Mississippi, Kentucky, Tennessee.
Okay.
You've practiced that.
There's a song in there.
Sure have.
somewhere.
I sure have.
That rolled off your tongue way too smoothly.
That should be an
I
Animaniacs.
pair them. So I go Florida, Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Kentucky, Tennessee, Alabama, Mississippi.
Right.
All right.
Yeah.
Connect the dots.
Yeah. I don't know why they pair like that for me. So anyway, so Marsha,
You're also drinking Guinness. Can I point to the listeners?
Yeah, you sure
that
can.
Marsha is drinking
It's safe.
Guinness.
It's safe.
at
Not
this
only
point.
is it healthier, but there's a little less alcohol, so you don't have to worry about losing a toenail.
Is that what happens? So anyway, so Marsha L Law is not my real name. It's my name for this podcast.
This is nice. I thought it was clever. I enjoyed it.
Well, thank you.
I'm enjoying it.
It is
Thank
clever.
you. I'm enjoying it
It's all
too.
over the table.
Because I'm a federal employee, I can't act on any kind of official
Right.
or even
which is
unofficial
why
capacity.
we're slightly disguising your voice.
Sure.
As audience probably doesn't realize, she has a much more manly voice. Like when I was introduced, I thought it was Steven doing ventriloquism. So what we're very kind of.
I quit that years ago.
So we're definitely making you sound more girly, so people wouldn't
good.
recognize you
Oh, good.
in the work environment.
Yeah, there you go.
The magic of auto-tune on a
So,
podcast.
Believe it
You're
or
welcome.
not, Jesus, it's so fast. Can you open this for me? I don't feel like doing it. I'm the guest here.
Do it. Somebody serve the bartender. God.
Serve the bartender already. You know, this has been a one-sided relationship. for
Okay,
too long.
well, today's topic, if you haven't gathered, is FEMA. Why should I give a shit? Because the government is planning on imprisoning U.S. citizens in these concentration internment death camps under the guise of martial law, likely following a major disaster or crisis, genuine or manufactured. Over the last few decades, the government has slowly been enacting authority to do so through the means of congressional acts and executive orders.
Bringing out the crazy quick
Yeah.
today, aren't you?
So what the heck is this FEMA?
Here we go.
FEMA stands for the Federal Emergency Management Agency.
That part's correct.
As of March of
So far, so good.
2003, FEMA exists as a major agency of the Department of Homeland Security, or the DHS. True. And its primary function is to operate coordinated responses to disasters, otherwise or natural.
Slurring kind of early, my
Well,
friend.
it's because I'm good. And that might occur when it becomes above the means to do so by local or state authorities.
Yeah,
So
might
that's-
I
when
interject one thing there?
Sure.
So, as a person, I forgot to kind of get into my history, but I've worked for emergency management agencies at both the local and state level. I'm not going to say which ones because that would pretty easily narrow it down to who
CIA.
I
Anyway,
am.
please go ahead.
So I've worked for a local emergency management and Homeland Security office, and I've worked for a state Homeland Security and Emergency Management office. And the biggest thing here that I'm going to drive home over and over again is that FEMA basically doesn't do shit unless the state requests it,
There you go.
and the state doesn't do shit
Until they ask the president.
until the local government requests it. Like the definition of a disaster,
Yeah.
an emergency basically means that it is manageable by the local or state entity.
So till
And
the
a
mayor
disaster-
says what the fuck, then the governor is not going to say what the
And then-
fuck.
exactly.
And then the president doesn't say what the fuck.
A great example is Florida. Florida has. We'll get
shitty
into
governor.
this later. No. Well, yeah. Oh, fuck yeah. Fuck yeah.
Good old
Fuck that.
Jeb.
No, fuck that guy. It's not
Please-
Jeb
please
Bush.
clap.
It's not Jeb Bush.
No,
right
you're a
now. That's
politician,
ridiculous.
Stephen.
I was late taking my beer shot. So
I forgot if I took it already or not.
So Florida's a great example because Florida basically has created their own savings account for disasters.
Okay.
So they never ask FEMA for help. Hardly ever.
Oh, because they got their own bank account.
They got their own shit.
I mean, they should.
Yeah.
They get hit the most of anybody.
Well, right.
But they
everyone's mowing the
decided
lawn.
like, hey, we don't want the federal government to manage this shit. We want to manage it ourselves. And so they
How's
started
that
their
working
own.
out?
Mm-hmm. It's just odd because there's not a lot of
It is working.
there's not a lot of places to go camping in Florida.
What?
But retirement homes.
Oh, that's another form. That's just another form of camping. Anyway, so FEMA's emergency response is broken down into small, decentralized teams.
Nope. Try that again.
Decentralized.
There you go.
Decentralized teams trained for specific tasks, such as the Natural Disaster Medical System, or the NDMS, which provides medical and allied care to disaster victims. They coordinate the use of the Disaster Medical Assistant Teams, or the DMAT, to rapidly respond to an area in need.
Wrong.
And then you got your Urban Search and Rescue, the USAR, which performs rescue from structural collapses such as buildings and mines. You got your Disaster Mortuary Operation Response Team, or DMORT, DMORT, which deals with what you do with all the dead people. Much like Monty Python and the Holy Grail, there's the guy, pulling the cart full of corpses, and Eric Idle is ringing the bell and is bring out your dead.
Bring out your dead. Bring out your dead.
And now you got your Mobile Emergency Response Support, or MERS, MERS. These teams provide communication support during disaster, creating satellite uplinks and portable cell phone towers to establish and maintain communication with responders and local public safety departments. Oh, another one here. This is a good one. This is a good one. The National Response Coordination Center, or the NRCC, is a multi-agency located at FEMA headquarters in Washington, D.C.
Where?
Washington. Or no, my mom would say Washington. It'd be Washington, D.C. From what I understand, they are the administrative aspect of FEMA, coordinating the different teams deployed, as well as gathering and assessing needed information, as well as policy guidance towards support of incident-level operations.
This is giving me a fucking headache. The wrongness of this information.
I love that you're our bartender so much right now.
Fucking
I mean, let me
Yeah.
just assume for a second that he's actually right, which I know he's not.
She took the hat off. Where'd the hat?
What?
You should put the hat.
But
I
if
have
he is
headphones
right,
on. What?
I just want to say that they seem like a really great organization, and I'm guessing that not too soon from now, Brent's just going to shit all over them, as he normally does of legit
Right.
things.
Right,
But anyways,
right.
you seem to be very frustrated right now, so
Yeah.
please go on.
This
I'm going to
is-
enjoy the fuck out of this.
This is super wrong. Everything you just said is super wrong.
Oh, surprise.
Well,
Welcome to my life.
Yeah. So you mentioned the NRCC. That was the last thing you mentioned. That's like
Yeah.
maybe the most correct thing, kind of. Like that had about 30% truth, which is
And that's the most correct one?
yeah.
which means
The others,
so I
the
got
others,
the pronouns right.
The others do exist, but they're different than you think they are. So the NRCC is the National Response Coordination Center. Yes, that's in DC. Yes, it's activated. It's only activated during disasters. Their job is essentially to provide information to the White House. And
Right.
they do literally nothing else. They suck.
Yeah,
you really do.
Yeah, for real. It's
Are there a
bunch-
lot of them?
Yeah, there are probably at least 100 of
So
them.
you got like 100 people in a building that doesn't do shit all
It's
day.
100 fucking salaries that you're paying, and
Are
their
they
job-
hiring?
Well,
and their job is to give information to the White House about what the fuck is going on.
are they looking
So-
for improv comedians?
Pretty much. I mean, I work there. Or no, I don't work there. I'm sorry. I work at the RRCC. The RRCC.
Did you
Must
say
be Spanish.
So you have the NRCC, National Response Coordination Center, and that's semi-correct. The RRCC is the Regional Response and Coordination Center, and that is in Atlanta here.
What about the RSVCP?
I don't know what the fuck that is. The RSVCP?
I'm a bad speller.
So anyway, the NRC, or so I have a position at the RRCC, which is the Regional Response Coordination Center, and our job is to communicate with the local and state emergency management agencies and then feed that information, like collect it and package it and send it up to the NRCC, and then their job is to report to the White House, right? So, but we also, we do mission assignments, which means we ask other agencies to do work for us. We hand out the money that does that.
Money handlers.
Money handlers. And we also do deployments at the RRCC. Which
Troop
means
deployments?
Not quite. Which means we send FEMA employees.
Okay.
Which is very boring. I could get into all the different kinds of FEMA employees there are.
Because they're all doctors?
None of them are doctors.
Well, it doesn't sound right.
None of them are doctors.
I trust her.
Doesn't sound right at all.
None of them are doctors.
So
I don't know.
So
Really?
basically, everything Brent just said is wrong. Is
Yeah.
your point?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah,
Just
yeah.
wanted to
Okay.
clarify that.
So anyway, the RRCC has a job, and that is to kind of coordinate the regional response and just funnel the information up to DC, where the information has to go to the White House, right? And then there's the other information that comes from the field.
Okay.
And the field is comprised of the IMAT, which is the Incident Management Assistance Team.
Okay.
I've seen movies
So they're
about
not
that.
DMATs, they're IMATs now.
Well,
Or
They're-
you get the IMATs to get the
so
DMATs.
what you're referring to are DMORTs, which is a disaster mortuary.
the more,
team.
the party dead people.
The party of
They're
the
like
dead.
they're all into Oingo Boingo and shit.
Yeah, those are only
gonna spend this
the
shit.
DMORT are only invited when lots of people have died.
I'd imagine.
the DMORT were activated after
Yeah.
9/11, right? Because
Okay.
how do we manage all of these human remains? Like, what
Right.
do we do with these human remains? How do we like gracefully reunite these remains with their families? How do we manage this process? And what do we do with a fuck ton of dead bodies?
You can't eat it.
You can't eat it, my friend. You can't just have a big old barbecue.
Certainly not.
So the IMATs are the teams that initially go out, and they really set the initial footprint during a response. And then in addition to that, and after that, the FCO is the Federal Coordinating Officer.
But the F is the FCO?
The FCO is the Federal Coordinating Officer.
Okay.
They are in charge of the entire disaster.
So it's just one person.
It's one person.
So one guy
And
gets
he's-
flown in.
Or girl.
Yeah.
Or girl.
Yeah.
Gal.
My favorite
One-
FCO is a woman.
Yeah.
And she's my fucking hero. And they are technically appointed by the president, but like the president doesn't know who the fuck they are. It's really like the president has barely
Especially
ever
this
met them.
president.
Yeah.
Yeah, for real.
So what I've heard thus far is Brent is wrong.
Brent's
Okay,
wrong.
just wanna make sure.
Brent's super
All right, got it.
wrong.
So
Good to
let's,
go.
what the hell else does FEMA?
Yeah.
What the
Give
hell
us
else does
more
that FEMA
stuff,
do?
Brent.
Apparently, FEMA, they manage the National Flood Insurance Program.
Yeah,
or
that's
the
correct.
Oh, we got it.
NFIP,
We got
making
it
flood
right.
insurance available
He's
to
one
and
for
affordable
seven.
to
Brent's
people
one for
living in
seven.
potential flood zones. That's correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Oh, holy shit.
Granted, we do a shit job of it. Like, I'll be very honest about this. Like, we do not do a great job of
No.
managing the National Flood Insurance.
Clearly. We'll get into that.
Well-
So they assist in funding or rebuilding efforts, directing victims to low-interest loans in conjunction with the Small Business Administration, or the SBA.
That is an oversimplification to.
Well, you're welcome. I'm trying to save time here. There's a lot to go over.
I understand that, but you're missing out.
I'm
on,
loving every second of this.
You're
Just
missing.
can I point out?
You're missing out on the two.
I ain't gotta do shit this episode. I'm just letting you talk the whole time. I'm like, nope.
To what?
Well, okay, you're missing out on the two main divisions of
Keyword main.
the two main divisions of response funding that FEMA provides, which are IA and PA. So IA stands for individual assistance, PA stands for public assistance.
So many
great.
acronyms.
Wow.
Fuck ton of acronyms, my friend.
So FEMA is also the home
You don't
of
gotta
the
yell.
National Continuity Programs
No.
Directorate,
Well,
or the
yeah.
NCPD.
yeah, but
Yeah.
that's at headquarters, and who fucking cares? Like,
Who cares?
No, but,
The people,
look,
doomsday preppers.
yeah, doomsday preppers do
They care.
and that's fine. But I just want everybody to know that the people who do work at headquarters do work for themselves. It's basically masturbation.
Okay.
There's no purpose
You know
to
about
it
that, right, Brent?
whatsoever.
Yeah. So I'm like a
never-
foot in the door already.
I've never seen anything
Use your
useful
feet.
come of their work ever.
Do it like a gymnast or trapeze artist.
August 21st, the world will experience a rare total solar eclipse. Solar E-Shades by Fasico, your best bet to observe this fantastic event with the intention of not permanently damaging your precious vision. Get them in bulk, share them with family and friends, one size fits all. It's Fasico Fun, Solar E-Shades. Find us online at www.solareshadeswebsite.fasico.edu.
All right, continue with your accusations.
So formerly known as the Office of National Security Coordination,
is?
or the ONSC.
NCPD?
He doesn't know.
We're talking about the NCPD, yes.
Okay.
Damn it. I'm talking about the ONSC. Okay. It's responsible for developing,
This is our
exercising,
favorite episode.
validating agency-wide continuity of operations and continuity of government plans, such as the Mount Weather Emergency Operations Center near Bluemont, Virginia, also known as the High Point Special Facility, or the HPSF. This is where they plan to use the highest levels of civilian and military officials. They send them there in the case that there's a natural disaster, otherwise, as to maintain a continuity of government.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mount Weather is where we do our weather stuff at.
I'm having so much fun right now.
So now you might be asking,
So Mount Weather is where we do our weather stuff at. We do have multiple Coop sites. That stands for Continuity of Operations, COOP.
Yeah.
Continuity of Operations, which means we send motherfuckers there so that in case there's a terrorist attack on...
is that code in the FEMA? Like,
It's not code.
it's not a VIP. It's a motherfucker.
Code. Oh, motherfucker.
So VIPs are motherfuckers. So that's why they think, hey.
No.
And then you call all the poor people lined up to get killed the VIPs.
No, not quite. Not quite. But we have a multitude of Coop sites. Continuity of operations.
Like a chicken coop.
Yeah, like a chicken coop.
And,
And,
round them up.
Like, for example, we have one in Thomasville, Georgia, which is just barely inside the
I've been
Georgia
there.
border.
I've jumped out of an airplane there.
Georgia border.
Well, no, it's not.
It's basically in Tallahassee. And so, say Garbage Human President Trump happened to be visiting.
What?
What? I have no opinion.
I agree.
I have no opinion whatsoever. So, say Garbage Human President Trump were to be visiting Tallahassee while he were
taking
doing
out the
some
trash.
kind of shit. Yeah. Well, he were, I don't know, sucking Rick Scott's dick, or Rick Scott was sucking his dick.
I'm not into masonry, so I don't know.
So while that's happening, a fucking terrorist attack happens. What happens next? Oh my God, Trump has to have a safe place to go. And so he goes to a Coop site, which is a continuity operations site. So we have multiple sites like this across the country that are really boring, and they're basically bunkers that people are paid to work at to maintain. And
Meanwhile, I think Bonnaroo was going on. He could have just fucking gone there. For real. And so they're not very exciting. I go to one of these sites all the time, and not very much happens. And
Okay, so Brent's wrong.
yeah, so Brent's wrong
Again. Go on, Brent. With more.
I'm good, but I'm good. I'm sure
Are you?
we got done talking about. Now you might ask yourself, what the fuck? WTF or what the fuck? Why is this all important?
Depending how much you like acronyms.
I'm not sure, because I really like to say acronyms out loud, because they make me sound wordy.
They actually did the opposite.
Dude.
Okay.
Yeah, we have a lot of them at FEMA. We have a whole book that's just
Your government, of course you do.
of acronyms
Yes.
and the definitions of acronyms. And we even have acronyms that stand for multiple things within the same fucking agency.
Is there an appendix for the acronym book?
Wow.
Yes.
That was on microphone, and that
but
so was that.
I was
No,
trying to get these off.
picked
All I
up,
said
though,
was-
and
Oh,
I'm going to leave that
shit.
in.
Oh, I thought you-
motherfucker.
That was Marsha.
Are you
Yeah,
talking
it was
about the,
Marsha.
you're talking about the, I thought
Okay.
you were just surprised I said appendix.
So there. No.
I was surprised by that, too.
No
but-
one's surprised by that. Okay, so anyway, so there is an acronym book that's called the FAT book.
The fat.
No shit.
It's
That's
called
the
the
name of it?
FAT.
Is it PH? AT?
Is fat,
think
is
so.
fat an acronym?
Like Fatima.
Oh, I wish FAT
Like-
was an
like
acronym.
the
That would be
prophecies,
so
the Fatima
good. Like
prophecies.
Wait,
the
isn't-
federal acronym
Isn't-
tabloid.
Isn't the rule, though,
or
to be
something
called
like
an
that?
acronym, it has to spell a word as it's abbreviated.
Yeah, otherwise it's an
hilarious.
anagram.
Yeah.
It's an abbreviation.
It's a horse talk. Well, that's what they used to say.
So yeah, there's a thing
sure
called
I'm
the FAT book, which is full of FEMA acronyms, but it's not.
Shit.
What's funny is it doesn't even have all of them in it. It doesn't even have all of them.
Well, because
One job.
it depends on
You
your
had one
security
job.
level.
You
So
had one
there's
job.
different volumes of that book for depending on what your security level is.
But like my problem is that even in my own job, I've accidentally created new acronyms.
Oh, you did it. So you're responsible for this.
Yeah, I'm the problem.
I like you a little
I'm
bit
part of
less
the
now.
problem.
Well,
I'm sorry.
Well, let's continue, shall we?
Please go on.
Shall.
Let's talk about a brief, ever so brief, like
I bet it's not brief.
Some shorts.
I bet it's
history of FEMA. So FEMA, as we currently know it today, was officially established back in 1978 under Executive Order 12148 by
No one cares.
President Jimmy Carter.
You have to
Jim
say it like that or
Carter.
it doesn't count. I met Jimmy
Carter.
Carter earlier this year.
Yeah?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And
He's old.
was he
It was
nice?
actually, it was Trump's inauguration weekend. I was real depressed.
Yeah, so was he.
For real, right? And I'm sure all your listeners will love this. I went to the Women's March on Saturday.
With Jimmy?
No.
Oh.
But I did. What's our District 5 representative's guy's name?
I
That
don't
one
know.
guy.
Chachi?
Anyway, no.
Oh.
No one cares. So anyway, I'm.
Oh, the
met that
documentary
guy.
kid?
No. Okay.
never
Anyway,
mind.
so I went to the Women's March on Saturday, and on Sunday, my beloved husband and I were like, "What do we do to make ourselves feel better for this weekend?
Let's get a baby.
Let's make a baby."
Yeah.
No.
Naturally, where
we
you
were
would
like,
go to.
what do we want to do?
I want
Like,
to
the
touch Jimmy Carter.
the country's human garbage. Like, how do we make ourselves feel better about this? Like, let's go see Jimmy Carter. Like, we live in Georgia. Jimmy Carter teaches us Sunday school every Sunday. Like, let's go meet him. And so we did. So there is.
That's not surprising to me.
So Jimmy Carter
I'm gonna teach
teaches
you about church law, kids.
church law. So I'm not a religious person at
Nor
all.
am I.
No.
I have Baphomet right
Nope.
here in
Yep.
the studio.
Yep, and there are boobs on it. I'm into that.
Yeah.
It's
We'll post
whatever.
a picture on
The
Instagram.
babs on that, Fet.
So
Brent wanted to hang this picture upside down.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Or I say-
you're kind of overdoing it at
But
that point.
if you put it on a spindle, and then you
hang a
could
cross upside down, not Baphomet himself.
just while we record, it'd be upside down, and then you could swing it back up and be on a spindle. Of
We'll
sorts.
post a picture of the painting on Instagram.
We should, or do an interpretive dance of it in a video.
Yep, that too.
Jason and I met Jimmy Carter.
Yep.
Okay.
And we went and we listened to Sunday school. It was
Sure.
beautiful. And it was about how you shouldn't, whatever, like, but don't build walls, build bridges, like, make friends
Oh.
with your neighbors kind
Nice.
of shit.
That's not
Jimmy-
religious in my
That's,
opinion.
well, that's, no, that's
it
what
was
Jesus
beautiful.
said.
It was beautiful. It was very Jesus-y, but in a non-religious-y
Yeah.
kind of
So,
way. It was wonderful.
So not
anyway,
not quite the whole Sermon on the Mount.
not quite the whole sermon garbage. But anyway, my point is, I really wanted to meet Jimmy Carter. And I got up there.
Okay, why? Why did you want to meet him so much?
Because, like, I'm an FDR kind of Democrat. Like, I'm apologize
Okay, you
to all
get a
your
choice.
listeners.
Jimmy Carter, Barack Obama.
So
Jimmy Carter.
What?
Yeah, I'm really sorry.
Way.
Fine, Barack Obama. I don't know.
So like you're like
I don't know. I love
I
political
Very
celebrity. So you're just into the political celeb thing. You're
Are
like,
you just into being a dissident? Is that what you're into?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm getting
So,
good at it.
so anyway, so I wanted to meet Jimmy Carter. Got up there, and the lady was like, "All right, well, you're not allowed to meet, or you're not allowed to talk to or touch Mr. Carter, Mr. or Mrs."
What's the point then?
Jimmy Carter, and I was like, okay.
'Cause he's allergic to peanuts.
So you're allowed to take a picture with him, but you're not. But you're not allowed.
Can't put your
to-
hand on his shoulder.
You can't touch. You can't touch.
Yeah.
But the
Could
poor,
you smell
poor
him?
sweet wonderful man has cancer and is under cancer treatment. So I'm not trying to give him
Like
any germs.
immunosuppressants. So
Yeah,
he has an
Yeah.
immune
he is
system.
probably on immunosuppressants.
That's fair.
So I'm
Oh,
not
yeah.
trying to give
He's
this.
old
he's-
as shit too.
He's
I'm not
cancer
trying to
shy.
give him any fucking germs.
He's a little cancer shy.
But he's sure he's cancer shy, but also not able to talk to him. What? So I talked to him anyway.
Yeah. What happened?
And
You rebel.
and
Did you get hit?
I just tried.
Secret Service just pops in. All right, good night.
Take her out.
I will say they did check our pocketses and our purses
Sure.
and stuff for guns and whatnot.
Yeah, like a needle
Before we walked in.
Right.
What'd they find?
Use condom.
But I did decide that I was gonna break the rules. I was gonna talk to Jimmy Carter, and I said, "Mr. Carter,
What's your favorite reality TV show?
The Bachelorette."
Not you. I meant you asked him.
Oh no, that's
Oh.
not what I asked him.
Yeah.
But he'd probably say The Bachelorette with Rachel
like a Bachelorette
Lindsay,
kind of guy.
first
He
black
said-
Bachelorette, badass.
She
I
still
love her
gives me
so
a boner.
much. So anyway, I walked up to him, and I, as quickly as I could, said, "Mr. Jimmy Carter, I admire you very much. I work for FEMA. You started FEMA. Thank you."
Nice. Hey, old guy. Thanks for my job.
Mr. McConnell.
Thanks for allowing me to have a job, old
I
guy.
hope that it came out exactly how you just did it, because that was amazing.
You know, and like, and a tear was brought to his eye, but only because she got so close to him that he had an allergic reaction.
She just
She thought it was emotional, but he physically was reacting. That's why you can't touch Carter.
I wasn't drunk when I said
No.
it to him, and so I don't think it was as.
But now it sounds. But now you are. It sounds much better out loud, right?
Okay, this is the turning point in the show for me.
Thanks for FEMA, Jimmy.
Go on.
We are probably
we're
halfway there.
We're
Who cares?
screwed.
Whatever. It's for fun.
This is just for fun.
This is just for fun.
And you're doing fantastic.
Thank you.
You're also with you. So
And also with you.
can't touch him. Can't touch him.
Right.
Jimmy sits there so hard. Okay, I'm just gonna stop here. Oh,
Never did again.
What did Jimmy Carter do? Oh, yes, it was under the
He started
1978
FEMA. It's boring.
through the 1978 Reorganization Plan number 3.
This was the kind of shit that he did because
Yeah.
it was already under works.
Right.
Like so many things are credited to presidents that they did. Like fucking
Yeah.
Nixon started the EPA.
But
Like who fucking cares? Like he just did it because it was already in the works.
So
of
they
happening.
tried
He
it.
just
They tried
signed
it
the
twice
paper.
already. They tried twice to get a reorganization plan, and they had it for a third time. It's a lot of reorganizations. So then he activated the following year with another executive order. And still with yet another executive order, he shifted all other disaster relief efforts into this new federal level agency, FEMA. All these other disaster relief programs and agencies were operating under the umbrella of the Department of Housing and Urban Development, or HUD.
Which is now run by the
HUD.
extremely charismatic and always left at the party, Ben Carson.
Oh,
Natural
man.
anesthetic.
My dad liked that show in the 80s. Anyway, in the late 1970s, FEMA responded to the dumping of toxic waste in Niagara Falls, New York, as well as the infamous 3 Mile Island nuclear accident.
Wait, what?
3 Mile
What?
Island
Nope, say the word.
nuclear nuclear
You
accident.
have learned nothing.
So that 3 Mile Island
Accident.
nuclear accident. Not a word. Hold on. I'm stalling because I lost my place on the screen.
That's not why you're
This
saying
is-
nuclear, which is not
Nuclear.
a fucking
The
word.
nuclear accident.
Nuclear?
Nuclear.
He can't say nuclear.
nuclear.
He says nuclear every
nuclear.
episode.
Nuclear.
I mean, every episode.
I don't even vote. Since then, Congress and the executive branch have been continuing to expand upon the authority of FEMA, assigning it new responsibilities and extending the reach of its power to enact control of a given situation, supposedly all in attempts to streamline the process and quickly be able to respond to the red tape hindrance of the bureaucratic system.
So I'm not going to belabor this, but my big differentiation here is I encourage all of your GD listeners to research the difference between an emergency management declaration and a disaster response declaration. That's EM and DR declaration. Okay.
So that's the EM and the DR.
Yeah, it's a big fucking deal.
Mm-hmm.
The EM declaration is what's assigned by the state. So the state or local entity has the authority to assign an EM declaration, an emergency response.
That used to be
No,
HUD.
I'm sorry, emergency management.
And HUD used to do that.
Who fucking cares?
The
I don't know.
HUD.
I don't know about that. So my understanding is that the local or state entity assigns the EM declaration, and that is the kind of thing that allows for curfews or evacuations to happen, and that is all
AKA martial law. What? Why are you pooping that? Why do you poop it when I say martial law?
I'm pooping that because it's my name. My name's in your mouth. I'm kidding. But
Did I stutter that one wrong?
Because it almost always falls into the hands of the local or state emergency management officer, which like
the FCO.
No, completely different person. The FCO is the
Brent's wrong. Surprise.
No, FCO is the federal coordinating officer.
Way to keep tally.
Federal coordinating officer is
stop.
an entirely different person. Is assigned after there's a disaster response declaration.
Oh, that's
already
after.
made.
So there's Okay, so this is the prep one.
The EM declaration, for example, for all of Florida, Georgia, blah blah blah, South Carolina, and Alabama. I don't fucking remember. Oh no, and North Carolina.
See, exactly.
There were emergency management declarations.
This is reflective.
Shut up. There were emergency management declarations issued.
You picked her for this episode too. Might I add?
Yeah,
I'm
he
enjoying.
did.
I'm
He
enjoying
did.
every
Marsha
moment of
sure
this
did.
as well.
Show.
He sure did.
I'm thrilled.
So for Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, and North Carolina, there were emergency management declarations issued for all of those states for Hurricane Matthew. This is super recent, right?
And all the other books of the Bible.
And what the emergency management declaration basically means is that they have authority to evacuate their citizens, but it's a state or local law. It's not a federal law, and so I don't understand what this huge hullabaloo.
Because it's FEMA says federal.
Because who says federal? It's not a federal
Nobody?
thing.
Does it say it on your paycheck?
Yeah, it says it on my fucking paycheck. I have nothing to do with the emergency management declaration.
That's for fucking.
So the thing is,
right, because it can change because there's a GMA. There's a GMA too.
God damn it! Yeah, that's
the goddamn
Right. See, we're
That's
emergency.
yeah. There's the the
all right. So I got
FDEM.
the Brent's wrong again. Right. Okay.
Yes.
Brent's wrong again.
Let's
I'll just-
leave it at that. Brent's
Theme
wrong
is
again.
Brent's wrong.
I'm
Brent's
fine.
wrong.
Leave it again.
I'm good
Brent's
with
wrong
being
again.
wrong.
Go on.
Super
with
duper
your
wrong.
bullshit.
Shall
I
we?
love you. You can call
Happy to answer.
So let's talk
any
about
extra-
criticism of the FEMA.
Oh, we weren't talking about criticism
well,
before.
we're going to get to
No,
it now.
we're here
We
now.
weren't.
So here are a few
What are we
examples
doing?
of when and where people have blamed FEMA for failing during disaster relief effects. And in
Brent,
some
for the
cases,
last
making
20
things
minutes.
worse.
That's basically right.
Right. So, yeah, in fact, that's me. So, Brent, the Conspiracy Podcast Power Hour in 2017, Brent made an ass of himself trying to defame the
Oh,
FEMA
just this
I
episode?
sound
thing.
evil. I just
Wait, hold on. I'm reading ahead. So, Hurricane Andrew.
Yeah, we sucked at that.
Yeah, that happened. August of '92 struck Florida, Louisiana,
I was 3.
and you were so you weren't technically under their employment.
No,
And
She was interning at that point.
yeah,
when I was 3.
well, you had
I started young.
Getting a head start.
you went to a good school,
I did.
the School of Womb. And FEMA was widely criticized for its lack of response to feed, house, sustain a quarter of a million people
people were
left
also,
homeless in affected areas.
People were also accused for staying in a fucking hotel and having a hurricane party on the fucking coast.
Let him do his thing.
Okay.
No, I wanted to hear about the hurricane
We're gonna
parties.
get him so good every time.
So, wait, who had the hurricane party?
College kids.
College kids who were in the hotel that got fucking destroyed and they all died.
And they all died in the
Yeah.
hotel?
Super duper.
Man, I wasn't really ready to go that dark, but
Yeah.
I'm open for it. You wanna
Yeah,
go
there was a hotel on the beach.
Yeah.
Some kids had some fucking hurricane party in the hotel on the beach.
Oh,
Were they
oh,
drinking
like all.
hurricanes?
Died. And then
did. I
they super
bet they did.
died.
Super
they
died.
died.
They
They died.
Yeah.
Supposed to
Super
really
died.
die.
So, well, there's one for
Not
Darwin.
good. For real, right? So
For once, I agree with you. For once, I totally agree with you.
So if FEMA's trying to kill people, they should just encourage them to have hurricane parties
Yeah.
at hotels
Doesn't-
on the beach.
Clearly, your trust fund doesn't account. Mm-hmm. So, so poor FEMA. So over 200,000 National Guard troops were deployed to aid in setting up temporary housing. Many complained of it feeling like an unnecessary police force.
I will add that the
please.
National Guard is a state resource and not
It
a
is.
federal
That's true.
resource.
That's the thing that we use because we can't deploy a military on U.S. soil. There's a law against that. It's in the Constitution.
It's in the Constitution.
But FEMA can overwrite it. We'll get to that in a bit.
No.
And 2004 hurricanes. Back in 2004, there were like 4 different hurricanes that season. And in the southern
2004 is the
Florida
season?
region,
Just clarify, 2004 is the season.
it was a season of reasons.
Right.
A season of raisins.
And the biggest one was Francis. Not named after, it was before the Pope. And it hit 100, but it's like major hit point was over 100 miles north of Miami-Dade County. Yet, nearly 10,000 Miami-Dade applicants were approved by FEMA for over $21 million in storm claims for items such as new furniture, household appliances, clothes, electronics like TVs, computers, even dental bills and funeral costs.
You got a fucking problem with that?
Even though there was no one there, with no recorded deaths were directly related to that.
How do furniture, appliances, clothes, electronics, and dental bills apply
fall into
to
the same
people
category?
Dying?
Exactly.
Rest my case. Okay.
Well, exactly. No, that's exactly it. What case is there?
Okay,
what did you do? You just repeated what I said and risked your case?
No,
Hey,
what
girl.
you just said.
Hey, girlfriend.
Hey, girl. I
Say
was
it.
just gonna throw in that I'm from Florida. I'm from the West
Oh,
Coast.
I lived in Florida.
You're from Jacksonville.
I hated Florida.
You're from the East Coast.
No, he's from Jacksonville.
You're from Jacksonville.
No, I'm not from Jacksonville.
I'm from Wisconsin.
You're from Wisconsin.
Tyler, our episode bartender 5.
He was from Jacksonville.
Jacksonville.
Oh, okay.
That's his fault.
So I'm
Or
from
parents.
an unnamed part of the West Coast, but major city part of the West Coast, middle of the state, which you can all figure out. That
I'm gonna need a map.
Florida. And, well, if anyone
a
from
Dakota
Florida is
pen.
listening, they know where I'm talking about. But so I grew up on an island that was in a bay in that part of the state, and I was evacuated for like half of 2004, 2005. I basically wasn't allowed to live in my own house. I didn't have power. I was in high school, so it was a real weird time to not have showers. So just saying that, like, this stuff is not foreign to me. I have experienced it. I get it. It fucking blows.
2005, Katrina is perhaps the best known example of FEMA failing.
Strong words.
Even with prepositioned response personnel in the Gulf Coast region, FEMA was unable to render direct assistance to where it was needed, only
Sound it
reporting to where the dire situation was unfolding.
You wrote this part, so you know.
Well, then,
It's not what you wrote.
no, it's not. But I'm ad-libbing, Steven, and I'll repeat it.
Probably should.
And I'm keeping my damn mouth shut.
Let's talk about FEMA. What else about the Katrina?
Let's talk about FEMA.
Talk about the Katrinas and the
All right,
FEMAs.
Katrina, go ahead, Katrina.
So Katrina had this FEMA and it's all fucked up. FEMA was unable to render direct assistance where only... I don't even know what I wrote. So the National Guard and active troops were brought in to combat mass looting and to try to maintain a sense of order. The need for a mass evacuation, which was very direly in need of the area, overwhelmed rescue personnel and first responders. FEMA, established in 2007...
Nope.
Nope.
Say it
February.
Incorrect.
FEMA established a February 7th, 2016
actually.
deadline.
My birthday is
on
February
your
7th.
birthday. Are they?
Weird.
Yeah.
Oh. well,
I'm not joking.
happy FEMA Day.
I'm guessing that's Pachimera.
Also,
which is the
my
post-
birthday is shared by Garth Brooks.
Anyway,
Okay,
I'm sorry. Let me just.
Let's
I
say
can
that.
just.
I think what you're referring to is the post-Katrina Emergency Management
Wait,
Reform
Brent's
Act.
wrong again.
The Reform Act.
It's called Pachimera. Post-Katrina Emergency Management
Pachimera?
Reform Act. Yeah.
Spell that.
P-K-E-M-R-A.
God, I love an acronym.
Brent's wrong.
Love acronyms.
Brent's wrong.
That's a great acronym.
And we're going to talk about more of that later.
Okay. Oh, I hope so. That's what I say. Hold on. You're making fun of me now. That's great. So, anyway, they established that deadline on February 7th, 2006 to end further coverage of temporary housing, leaving Katrina victims on their own to find permanent housing and to continue in social welfare programs.
That was right in the mic.
And oh my God, she's spitting out loud. Oh, man. So many were forced to live in temporary shelters and trailer parks set up and left by FEMA. Many of these trailers were reported may have toxic asbestos.
Asbestos?
Yeah.
Also, just to fucking correct your
people
shit.
getting cancer on that shit.
Asbestos is great, but
Asbestos
the
is
bigger,
great.
the way bigger and way more important complaint was formaldehyde.
Oh, yeah.
And formaldehyde was very,
Keeping the dead bodies here.
It was
Or from
no. Hold on.
Oh,
The FEMA travel trailers did have a lot of formaldehyde in them. The carpet that was in there, a lot of carpet contains formaldehyde. And being enclosed in a space with new carpet can, like people who install carpet, they know that formaldehyde can be a risk. And this was a problem for newly installed carpet inside of a FEMA travel trailer because it's such a small space.
Does it make a difference what kind of carpet?
What?
Like, if is it indoor, outdoor? Is it shag?
I don't fucking know.
No.
I'm sure that Brent's wrong there again.
Brent's probably wrong,
Wow.
but like,
Hey, you can put your clothes back on.
Asbestos is a great concern, and I'm willing to hear it out. But like everyone in the public health world knows that asbestos has to be friable.
Everyone in the know.
It's got to be deep fried. Tempura asbestos is the way to go.
I'm not going to cut out any of her burps.
Do not. I mean, do. So
Those are opposites. I'm so confused.
So, like,
It's a lot, right? I mean, this is what I do every episode.
It is a lot because like I'm a public health person and I understand holistically that asbestos and formaldehyde are very real concerns.
Here's another fucked up thing about
no, asbestos is a concern if it's friable.
It's friable.
Formaldehyde
you can't fry it.
If
you
gotta
broil it.
You can't fry it. You gotta broil it.
Or
carpet,
just
you gotta be worried.
boil it in water like
So-
the English do with all
But
their
he's
food.
wrong because formaldehyde is a bigger concern than
It is because nobody
than
has a fry pan
asbestos.
or that
Than
much
asbestos, and nobody's
canola.
frying their wall.
Yeah, and nobody rubs their walls with canola oil in these days.
So anyway,
Anywho, this was good. I feel like I learned something there. I'm not quite sure what, but it was there. July 2007. Check this out.
that was 10 years ago.
In July 2007, ice that had been ordered for Katrina victims had never been used, and was discovered in storage facilities. Clearly, it melted down at this point at the cost of $12.5 million.
How do you prove that you found ice
Okay.
that was
Because
melted?
it was a receipt.
Okay.
I just want to hear your logic
Steven.
of how
Because
that's
I'm on
possible.
all these empty
Hey.
bags lying on the
Hey.
ground. There was a receipt
Steven,
for $12 million.
I'm not going to confirm this, like unofficially or officially, but I am going to
You
say.
don't have to.
But I am gonna because I'm Marsha L. Law. I don't know anything.
Ah. So-
But I am gonna
lawyer.
say that that we as a region do not support the deployment of ICE to our states or locals.
Sure,
Like,
because you're too much
it does-
affiliated with the immigration.
So, what I'm
Hold the fuck on,
hearing-
motherfucker.
I'm hearing again, Brent's wrong.
Brent is wrong, but
I'm good.
but hear me out. It may have
I
been
really don't care about this.
it may have been because they tried this and they
Yeah.
realized it was a very expensive.
So that was. So
Hold
it
on.
took
Very expensive,
$12.5
bad
million
decision.
to figure out, hey, maybe we shouldn't be
very
sending
expensive
ice.
bad decision. Yeah, but
Maybe
here
we shouldn't stock it in
but
the storeroom for a year or two.
But motherfucker, no, you dickbag. Like, think about it.
I know.
I love you, you dickbag.
I'm being a dickbag.
You are being a
she's all fair.
dickbag.
So
Hear me out. Like you're sitting in the fucking city of New Orleans.
Yeah.
It's fucking 105 degrees. You are over it. You fucking hate your federal government. And FEMA has sent various.
These are a lot of presuppositions you're making of myself.
Sure, but like I've lived there and I know what's up.
Hot, calling the kettle black, might I add.
And like, I'm trying not to give away a bunch of places I've lived, but like I lived in that region and I get it, and it's very hot, and like hurricanes happen, and they happen to you as an individual, and when they happen, you don't have power,
No.
you don't have cold water,
You don't have $2.5 million.
you don't have $2.5 million. But hear me out. Like, you want the government to send you ice because you're like, it's cold
Right.
and I need it, and I need it for my drink.
Yeah.
I need it for my fucking drink.
And I don't know where my neighbors are from.
And-
So, in June of 2008, CNN investigation discovered
Fake news.
FEMA gave away around
Really?
$85 million
Atlanta.
in household goods to Katrina victims, but they ended up sending that money to 16 other states.
what?
Yeah, all this money allocated for Katrina victims, $85 million was given out to people like that were not even in that area.
That
just-
sounds really scientific, what you just said.
Speaking of science, Stephen, there's the total solar eclipse coming up this August 21st, which is why I have with me right now Ronald Heinrich from the Foresight Academy of the Seeing Impaired, or FASI, F-A-S-I, to tell us about these incredible glasses anyone can wear to safely observe this incredible event.
Fine, thank you, Bob. At Fossey, we specially developed the perfect safest eye protection on the market today to properly enjoy the incredible solar extravaganza. There is no need to damage your vision for an event of this totality. You're not going to want to miss out on this once every other lifetime occurrence. Don't settle for the knockoff brands. Fasico Solar E-Shades are the best bet for an ideal viewing.
That sounds fantastic, Ron. How the heck did Fasico get so good at making solar E-Shades?
We at the Foresight Academy of the Seeing Impaired have dedicated years of research to develop the best methods of battling and coping with the harsh realities for all forms of blindness. Since 1918, Fasico has been benefiting mankind in this endeavor.
That's a long time, Ronnie. Tell us, what else does Fasico make for the public?
Our academy graduates a lot of people at many times, preparing themselves for a world of living in the dark, with all the books available in our extensive library of books on tape. For years now, Johnny No-Sight has been trusting the top-notch quality of our legendary Fasico Seeing Eye mail order dogs. Mostly potty trained upon arrival.
Adorable.
We've also patented the only walking cane on the market that makes kitty cat noises every time it taps the surface. The dogs hate it.
Ronnie, baby, this all sounds too good to be true. Are these shades ISO certified?
Who are you calling an ISO?
Captain Ron Bon Heine Hole, where can I find a pair of these awesome solar E-Shades and more?
You can ask a blind person or find us online at www.solareshades.website/fasico.edu.
Thank you very much, Ronnie O. Butterball Ketchup Gravy from Fasico. I'm gonna go buy some solar E-Shades right now. Back to you, Steven.
Can I just
What's a Picamera?
PECMRA.
What's a Picamera?
The Post-Katrina Emergency Management Reform Act, which we talked about a little bit before.
We did. I ignored it.
But
like most facts?
But
well said, Stephen.
Yeah, correct. But I'm just going to highlight my favorite part of PECMRA, since we don't have time to get into the whole thing.
Mm-hmm. Was the
my favorite part of PECMRA is basically that
it's a Pokemon.
It's a Pokemon. I love Pokemon. Yeah. Gotta catch them all.
It's like that. It's like
gotta be the very best.
The FEMA,
like no
the FEMA Pokemon.
Was. So anyway, PECMRA is an act that was created after Katrina, which was basically like, look, we fucked up. We didn't do that good. And here are some very basic corrections as to why. And one of them was saying, hey, it's a problem that we can't deliver money to the state or local governments until they've proven damage. Like the city of New Orleans and the state of Louisiana, they incurred a lot of cost for those evacuations and so on and so forth. That it couldn't be repaid by the federal government until the federal government had proved.
I'm just hearing excuses. I don't understand why you're like so adamant to,
I kind of want to jump in here a little bit.
Go ahead. Jump in, Stephen.
If we're gonna be fair,
jump on it.
A lot of the fuck up that was Katrina was due on part of the Louisiana state government. Like,
a word.
First of all, they refused to let FEMA workers work directly with state first responders. Which led to a fucking clusterfuck of communications issues.
So they did second responders only?
That's funny.
They also, the state government...
Why do you shake your head when you say that?
You're wrong. You're so wrong. The state government also refused to allocate resources to the maintenance of the levees after the Army of Corps Engineers warned them...
Army Corps of Engineers.
Sorry, yes. I'm also drunk.
Or the
multi-drunk.
Or the ACOE.
But they warned them of they needed renovation. They're like, no, we're good.
We call them USACE, the United States Army Corps of Engineers.
Is it USACE?
And the city mayor of New Orleans did not execute his evacuation plan till less than a day before the landfall of the hurricane.
Oh, no.
Yeah, that's Mayor Ray Nagin, and that motherfucker got fired as fuck.
That was the big...
he got gone.
The Chocolate City...
And Chocolate City, you name it. Oh, my God,
and also, the director of FEMA
at
the time, Michael Brown, caught a lot of heat.
That's Shay.
Yeah.
He was appointed by George W. Bush, and the critique was that he had no emergency management experience.
Oh,
he gone.
Yeah.
No one cared. And
His one flaw.
I do feel bad for that guy because I feel like he got blamed for a lot of stuff that wasn't necessarily
Yeah, but then he
his fault.
ended up actually
But he
getting
had no
blamed for
experience,
shit
right?
that he was at fault at.
Well, that's
Like,
fine.
I think he got him for
And that's
some
fine, but we
element of corruption
just
and-
had a new administrator resign, whose name was Fugate.
Mm-hmm.
And
He got gate in his name. Easy.
yeah, Fugate, right? And we just had a new administrator assigned because of President Trump. I've almost vomited on my words. And that guy's name is Brock Long. And
Ooh.
With a name like Brock.
honestly,
Yeah,
and
Brock
with a name
Long.
like Brock Long.
So before he did porn, he'd studied law.
But for realsies, like I feel like these figureheads get a lot more slack than they deserve. Like I'll just say that in general, that like they're largely not responsible for the administrative decisions that are made.
I want to
And
know more of this Long family.
I don't know yet, man.
We at the we hit Rex 84.
Yep.
I think we're so Rex 84, short for Readiness Exercise 1984. Although it didn't occur that year. I don't know why would they
I
call
was
it that?
not alive yet.
Why
It
wouldn't
was-
it occur in
it was
1984? I don't know.
Because
George Orwell.
because it was a reference.
What are the odds?
What would happen? What would happen if it needed to become a police state?
To your
This is
butt.
it.
Spilled so much.
It's a classified.
Marsha.
Do we?
Not you. Her.
Oh, I thought I missed a bell.
No, there it is.
Oh shit!
No, there's just a lot of Guinness on the table. We'll clean it up later.
Yeah,
I'm the guest.
the maid will get it.
They'll push it.
Push it real good.
All right, go ahead. Your false information.
Readiness Exercise 1984. It was a classified scenario drill in which the federal government were to detain large numbers of U.S. citizens that were deemed to be national security threats in the
Kramer,
event
not a strong
that the
point.
president were to declare a state of a national emergency. The plan was developed as a contingency for widespread opposition to a U.S. military invasion abroad, giving the military direct authority to relocate civilian populations and combat perceived subversive activities on U.S. soil.
Now, didn't they target? Oh, I get a shot first. Hang on.
Yeah, in order.
Always happens to me every time.
'Cause he is an only child.
Shut up. Didn't they target like liberal groups, like human rights activists, labor union groups, anti-war activists? Like the irony of the whole thing is, this theory is always purported by these right-wing, extreme right-wing nut jobs.
Yeah.
That use this theory to purport the idea that like they're gonna take our guns, and yet when it actually happened for once in the Reagan administration, the fucking Republican poster boy
Or Waco.
with nope, they targeted these far left groups, which is the opposite of who claims this shit all happened.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was a point that I was trying to make, but probably unsuccessfully made earlier,
Oh,
which
I'm
is
an idiot.
which is what the emergency management versus disaster
Okay.
declarations.
So one is natural and the other is not.
Yeah,
natural.
yeah. So an emergency management declaration is local or state. It's almost always enacted by the mayor or governor
Right.
of the jurisdiction.
Yes.
And
But
that-
when they can't do it, then they'll contact the other, right?
No, it's a different thing. It's a completely
what?
different thing. The emergency management declaration has to do with like local authorities, like police and fire and stuff, and it's like we're forcing you to
Well, sure.
evacuate, like that.
Well, from my understanding, then if those
That's the local
if they if they cannot handle it,
no, it's in addition to.
then that's when they call
So
it FEMA.
the disaster declaration
Yes.
has to do. That's FEMA has to do with federal funding for individual assistance or public assistance or hazard mitigation grant program, which are huge and different programs.
And
They
again,
have-
the important part is
they
the part is
have
wrong.
nothing to do with
Speaking of huge and
local
different.
or state laws.
Speaking of huge and different, the FBI. I mean, this is just kind of a sub thing.
That was your shot for the last one, I think.
Hello, Agent Cooper.
So the FBI is known to keep a list, and they've been known this since 1967, if not before. They've been keeping lists on people, and they're known to have a list of over 100,000 or more people perceived or suspected to be subversive and a threat to civil order. And they call that list the Apex list.
It's called the ADEX list, actually, but we all know you're strong with accuracy, so
Maybe
it's not your forte for sure.
I think it's AQEX.
Nope.
Quex.
Nope. Go on.
Oh wow, she's throwing. Are you throwing up in your mouth?
I love how much she's giving you shit right now.
Go on.
This is my favorite episode,
Yeah.
without question. Already, I love it. Go on, Brent.
I'm an asshole.
Codename under military operations such as Garden Plot and Lantern Spike, it was first revealed by the Miami Herald reporter Alfonso Chaudre in 1987 and soon later brought in more detail by journalist Ron Ridenour in his article found in Counter Spy magazine.
So actually, I found a PDF version of the operational plans for Garden Plot.
Yeah.
And according to the cover page, which I downloaded, it was produced out of Robbins Air Force Base.
Yeah.
Which is in my hometown.
Right.
Robbins.
Next to the Basket Robins. And
Bees
and that was a Better Homes and Garden article.
We actually get our name misspelled with 2 B's because of Baskin Robbins.
Oh, fun.
But, not really.
Yeah.
But
you
anyway.
guys got...
Cute.
Yeah.
It's cute.
That's cute.
Corporate America
Like a
making you
Wisconsin accent.
change
It's
your...
Cute.
Oh, wow. That's nice. During the Iran-Contra hearings in 1987... Yeah. Iran. Well, that's what you do. Iran-Contra hearings in 1987, there is recorded an awkward exchange of dialogue between Congressman Jack Brooks, Oliver North's attorney, Brendan Sullivan, and Senator Daniel Inouye. The latter being the Democratic chair of the Senate House Republic Committee. In this exchange, Congressman Brooks asked Colonel North if he was involved in a program that would invoke a plan for continuity of government and the suspension of the American Constitution should there be a major disaster. Brooks was basically told in front of the entire watching nation to shut up because he was poking at a highly sensitive classified material and he was only able to continue his questioning in a closed-door executive session. Where were we? Hey! Oh. I thought somebody ran in here.
No one knows where we are, including me.
Nobody knows.
And I'm here in studio.
Oh, so how about let's talk about FEMA and presidential executive orders.
Let's.
So,
yes, let's.
Well, for example, President
let's.
Barack Obama was claimed.
Barack
Obama.
Who?
My boy Barry.
Barack Obama. During his tenure, it was reported, you're a tread.
That doesn't make any sense. Keep going.
During his tenure, it was reported to have signed over 900 executive orders. Oh, this is a gross exaggeration, real number being around 139. Nonetheless, he did sign off on many of these, and due to these actions, some claim him to be a pawn of the secret cabal that runs the government and a participant of what some consider the Illuminati and a propagator of the New World Order.
Now, why does that sound familiar? We've covered this.
Well, we talked about it, but did we really cover it?
You didn't listen was what happened.
Did you have a whole episode?
We did
around
actually have
it?
an
Because I
episode
think
on it.
you did.
Wow. You sure you two aren't still dating?
I
swear to God,
I
yeah.
am extremely sure.
Because
I'm extremely sure.
We just
Be
like
so-
truth,
I mean,
unlike you.
to say you're in bed together might be
Inappropriate.
Inappropriate, sure.
She's engaged.
I am engaged.
Engaged.
I love my man very much, and you're friends with him.
I think he's a fantastic human being.
He is a fantastic human being. I'm very excited.
Oh, yeah. So, anyway, many of the executive orders in question were those brought over from the previous administration of George W. Bush
Shocker.
in an attempt to prevent future terrorism on U.S. soil. So, whichever the intent was, the most agree at this point, these actions have stripped us of many of our freedoms as American citizens. Executive orders in recent history directly relating to FEMA include, and is by no means limited to, seizure of all communications. all communications media in the U.S. Seizure of all electric power fuels and minerals. These are written executive orders. Why are you... You can't... oh, God damn it. Oh, I'm going to keep going. Yeah, seizure of all electrical power fuels and minerals in public and private. Seizure of all means of transportation, including personal cars, trucks, or vehicles of any kind, and total control of the highways, seaports, and waterways. Seizure of all American people for workforces under federal government supervision, including the splitting of families, if the government finds it necessary.
Nope.
Seizure of all health.
Nope.
And the other health things. Oh, education, welfare facilities, public and private.
Nope.
There's an executive order that empowers the Postmaster General to register all men, women, and children in the U.S.
What does Postmaster even fucking mean? You're claiming shit and you don't even know what it means.
There's numbers associated with
God,
these.
I love this.
Seizure of all airports and aircraft.
What does Postmaster mean?
Seizure of
back
all
up.
railroads, inland waterways, storage facilities, and public...
Just because you talk louder doesn't make you more right.
Nope.
It's-
Nope.
Well,
Brent's wrong.
I guess there's...
Brent's wrong.
I guess because someone
Brent's
says
wrong.
nope.
Brent's wrong.
Then
Brent's wrong.
I guess there's just no need to
believe her.
continue.
I don't know why, but I do.
Like, okay, some.
Well, you dated her,
my
for number
beef-
one.
No, we went on
Don't
a
go
date.
back to that.
Dated is incorrect because we went on one date.
That's a rabbit hole. Let's not
It's
go down that again.
irrelevant.
You're right. I'm sorry.
And
You guys were...
my problem.
I
is
meant
that
cahoots.
we're in cahoots.
Cahoots is
Look,
You guys-
every single thing that you just mentioned is subject to different federal regulations, like their own federal regulations.
These are
not
called
just
facts,
FEMA's.
Brent.
And they require their own mission assignment. So an MA is when FEMA assigns another federal agency with a task, and we pay for that. Or we don't pay for that, depending on how that
with
shit
whose
works.
lives.
But like, it takes a lot of fucking effort. Like,
That was good. I give you that.
What did he say?
Up yours. You don't get to cheer me at this point.
Okay, fuck
Your
you.
butthole.
You guys are so dead to me.
So-
I love it.
So what I'm trying to say is that like it takes a real
Takes
effort.
a village.
It takes a fucking village.
Takes a village to create a moron.
That's legit. That's legit. But it takes a village just to make a USAR MA happen. A USAR MA being a urban search and rescue effort to happen. And we
I
don't,
thought you meant the
like
Cat
FEMA-
Stevens.
No, hear me. Like
Hear me now.
USAR isn't like it isn't a FEMA team. It's an extraneous team. It's probably
Sure.
a local team, and all we do is reimburse that. Like FEMA is money, and when people don't want to acknowledge is that it's just money, it's not anything else but money.
You got your.
And
There should be a FEMA team then. Get your FEMA.
No, but all we do is reimburse the local or state agency for hiring these different.
You're just allocating money then.
Yeah, we're just allocating
allocating
money.
Normally, right now, I
We're
would
just
try to critique
allocating
you, but
money.
I got no
Don't need to.
responsibility.
So anyway, like whatever.
Brent's wrong again.
Brent's wrong
Report
again.
apart.
Oh well,
And I'm
All right.
gonna
What else you got?
spill more beer.
where are we at? We had death camps yet?
No, that's your next point.
Oh, sweet. So, FEMA
This was
death
just really
camps.
crazy.
Boo.
This,
You thought it was bad now. Wait till this part.
this
I
is
had
where
to
it
tell
gets
them to add
juicy.
this.
FEMA death camps. In 2006, the Army Corps of Engineers awarded a $380 million contract to build temporary immigration detention centers throughout the U.S. The contract was given to Kellogg Brown and Root, which is a
Frosted
subsidiary of Halliburton. Right, close.
Ooh.
They're not quite frosted. And so Kellogg Brown and Root, or KB&R, was previously sued by the U.S. government in 2004 for submitting false invoices and claiming false invoices and claims relating to
What?
the Iraqi War Support Services contract. So basically, they were saying, "Hey, you guys owe us money for all this shit," and they didn't do any of that shit, and so they got caught at it, and the government sued the fuck out of them. But it didn't deter them from still sleeping in bed with them. So because they went ahead and they freaking later then fucking gave them this contract, and these camps were to house over under the contract initially. The idea was to house over 21 million people. The official press release for this was the contract, which is effective immediately. I'm quoting this. The contract, which is effective immediately, provides for establishing temporary detentions and processing capabilibilities due to augmented existing immigration and custom enforcement, or ICE.
There you go. So can I
gonna be.
finally have my segment here?
Oh, would you?
Yes.
I've been waiting a long time for this.
Yeah,
Sure.
clearly.
Yes. Go, Steven.
You have raged on about these camps being so prevalent.
And I've fought him.
And you've
tooth
been
and
so
nail.
kind and open-minded to hear what I had to say that I think I'm
Have
going to
we
reserve
done-
myself
Touche.
very much as you go.
Touche.
So please, sir,
Oh,
continue.
touche. I'll give you that. The obvious question is, where are these camps at that you so claim exist? And
Walmart.
there you like many conspiracy theories, there's always these like different groups within the theory that disagree on the major points of where these actually are. And so with this one,
That's a democracy.
I will call it the Google Earth contradiction. So there's one group that believes you can go on Google Earth, and see them. The other half believes you cannot see them because they've been hidden intentionally.
Oh.
Because Google's in on it. Now, I'll point out, if you actually... hang on.
Hanging on. This is good. Nobody move.
I spilled half that shot in my lap.
Well, that's why we shouldn't move.
Yep. If you actually do go on Google Earth and look up these supposed locations, you find a variety of city halls, train stations, prisons, and just plain dead.
YMCAs.
That too.
A quarry, maybe. I don't know.
So the most popular video of one of these supposed camps is from the early 90s, and it shows a bunch of shit like, for example, barbed wire facing inward.
Did you just say N-word?
Inward.
Inward.
Yeah, that's-
A-R-D.
I just want to let you know.
Oh, yeah.
Not inward.
That was an N-word fence.
I just want to let you know that's not okay.
Man, it's not cool to
Not
have an
in
N-word
dash
fence.
word, inward.
N-word fences are not
You know what?
acceptable here.
You're trying to throw me off.
I'm not good with this N-word.
It shows barbed wire facing inward, super secure entrances,
So wrong.
and boarded up buildings. It has like 1.5 million views on YouTube. The truth is,
It's pretty good.
it's an Amtrak. It's more than we have, for damn sure.
So far.
It's an Amtrak repair station. So it's a train station or a train repair station. And the reason why there's inward facing barbed wire is that it was under construction. And you don't break into a construction site to steal things. You do, but the point is, there's no threat of breaking into it. The threat is taking things out of it, like equipment. And so, hence why the
Right.
barbed wire faces
In case
inward.
when all the shit goes down. Yep.
No, dumbass. It's fucking... You're taking equipment out of it, which is the main thing they're trying to prevent. So here's the thing. I'm taking a shot first.
Oh, thank God.
Here's the thing.
I'm also going to take a shot.
Hell yeah, let's go.
So Popular Mechanics actually did a debunking topic on this.
Did they?
They were allowed to go into that station and record whatever they wanted to, photograph whatever they wanted to. And guess what they found?
Nothing.
Trains being repaired. It's a fucking
the
Amtrak
train
repair station. They went into the buildings and they found trains being repaired.
That's
That's
not-
right.
Also, just to clarify here, the woman who produced that video is a woman named Linda Thompson,
Yeah.
who was a big advocate of the militia movement in the 90s.
Yeah.
You know what Timothy McVeigh was into? That thing, yeah.
And she was into a huffing Glade.
Probably
She was a Glade huffer.
So the video was produced by a woman named Linda Thompson.
But did she do she did one of those SNL movies?
Nope.
did bad
Not her.
stuff.
She was a big militia advocate, and even her own fucking crazy right-wing nut militia followers built on her because she suggested the idea of them going to Washington D.C. and doing a march, and then capturing senators, holding them on trial, and possibly executing them. And they're like, no, you're too crazy for us.
So she's kind of a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So even when the militia is like, no, you're kind of fucking crazy.
Right. Yeah. Even when your crazy organization tells you that, you might be a little radical, then it's time to take a step back and think. Maybe, perhaps this isn't my chosen
you talk about
vocation.
Walmart camps, right?
So, yeah. I talk about a lot of shit.
Go on about Walmart camps.
Walmart camps. Walmart camps are being converted into FEMA camps under the guise of plumbing updates.
Are they, though?
Nope.
Yeah, this is it. So at least 5 Walmart stores.
5.
One of them being in Midland, Texas.
Don't yell on the microphone.
Hey,
There's a place called Midland, Texas. Anyway, so at least 5 Walmart stores, one being Midland, Texas, were shut down.
Boy, I'm really drunk right now.
These Walmarts were shut down with little to no notice. The employees given a 5-hour notice that they had no work to go to tomorrow. Anyway, these stores
I just want to point out that
are being. Oh, sorry.
Marsha,
I'm sorry. I interrupted you. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Out of Guinness and wants Bud Light.
Some whistleblowers involved in the renovations of these Walmarts state that the ventilation systems have been stripped out and replaced. Why would they do that? Huh? And also, contractors working at these remodeled Walmarts claim to have seen military people in and out of uniforms, DHS, that's the Department of Homeland Security, and United Nations or UN badges on these personnel. The shelves and merchandise have been removed at these stores, and guard towers built up on the 4 corners of the inside.
So I just want to point out that I Googled Walmart guard towers, and all that I found were pictures of mobile security towers, which they use to survey parking lots.
Pecker lots.
Yep. And really poor Photoshop jobs.
In 2004, CNN Money had an article that stated Walmart had received about $1 billion in the government subsidies to expand their business. Further investigating discovered as of 2005, Walmart had over 350 empty stores across the U.S.
So just so you know, there are actual real documented closings.
So why would they deserve these government subsidies?
They are related to labor strikes, first of all, not plumbing problems. And also, and you want to talk about how so many Walmart shops are closing across the U.S. This is 2017. The emergence of online shopping.
That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just stating the fact that there's all these empty, stores, and they're being bought up as government space. All right. Jade Helm 15. Jade Helm 15. Jade Helm 15 is a realistic military training, or RTM, joint exercise that occurred July of 2015 involving the United States Special Operations Command, or the USSOCOM, or SOCOM, and involved the United States Army Specialized Operations Command, the USASOC, and the Joint Special Operations Command, the JSOC. Its stated purpose was to improve the Special Operation Forces' capability as part of the national security strategy. This exercise, which took place over several U.S. states, including Texas, Florida, Arizona, Louisiana, Utah, New Mexico, and Mississippi, conspiracy theorists reference a map from this U.S. exercise.
It was only a matter of time.
This is exercise 4K. All right. Conspiracy theorists reference a map from this U.S. Army Special Operations Command that divides the region of this exercise into 4 categories, all being states of hostile, permissive, leaning toward, or against. So, 4 states there.
What?
Yeah, you're either for, not, maybe for, maybe not. I think that's what they're trying to say.
Who is and isn't?
And this is the scenario that they proposed in their exercise.
Who proposed?
The military, the freaking goddamn acronyms.
What?
Some speculate the name of this exercise is possibly Jade Helm 15 is related to China invading U.S. soil and like how we would react as a contingency. or a
China.
contingency for a potential takeover by a military artificial intelligence.
Here's the thing. You know what? I'm done.
They are preparing
I'm done.
for that. Okay.
Let's recap.
All right, let's do it.
Hey,
Let's
don't-
recap. Wait,
Yeah,
hold
okay,
on here.
okay.
I think this lady has something to say
now.
for being.
This lady.
All right, lady.
This lady.
So lady says things that come out of her mouth and is nice.
I do say things that come out of my mouth, and I do have things to say about the last garbage, the last garbage presented.
Well, we're out of time though, so
It's
All
okay.
right.
make it quick.
It's okay.
Well, so my thing is that, and a point that we didn't necessarily get to hit is that your federal government is terribly inadequate, and it really
But it
is.
breeds inadequacy, so they can they can funnel money, so they
Sure.
can fake, they can
No,
confuse where
I
the
don't
money
know.
goes.
I don't know about that. So hear me out. Hear me out. Your federal government does do it. Federal government.
Federal
I am a drunk girl, but I'm a smart drunk girl. So just trust me.
We're with you.
So your federal government is pretty fucking bad at allocating money in the right ways. It really is, and it does a bad job of pointing things in the right direction. But, and okay, I would,
Huge ass.
so I would say that for me, like I work at the regional office, and I know things.
I'm gonna give my market plug real quick here.
He did. She's doing with sonic symbols
I
and
just want to
fixing their
say,
hands.
like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter or
Yeah.
Instagram.
Or just-
CPH Podcast is the handle on both of those.
or the TCPH
That's not what it is at all.
if you want to
And
phonetically correct.
if you could write a review for us on whatever app you
Just don't
listen
do
on,
it.
it
That would be good.
Yeah.
It would help us a lot, actually.
I
Mention-
did it. Everyone else should do it.
Mention your
Are you
favorite.
JKW9999?
I'm J.K. Rowling W9.
Oh, you're the. Oh, that's why we got her. So we convinced our
hey, guys.
bartender.
Today.
Hey guys,
This is looking
I'm
like
super
real bad.
kidding. I'm gonna add a real review.
Well,
I
I'm
will-
just saying.
I'm gonna change my name from
We
JG.
need your help. Help us, Obi-Wan. You're our only hope. I don't know.
You're
what it means.
your only hope. No,
We need
don't
your
say
help.
that. It sounds too desperate.
It is.
Delete
That did
that.
sound way desperate, dude. You like
Help me,
it was-
Obi-Wan
it was
Kenobi. You're my
disgusting.
only hope.
Yeah. Hey,
Help my only one
I mean,
Kenobi. You're my sexy hope.
we could have made it a
Ooh,
fucking.
it's way better.
We could have
Help
made a
me,
fart joke out
sexy
of it.
one Kenobi.
Alright,
You're
Brent.
my only dope.
Hey,
This is where you start singing. So, go ahead, just do it.
once in a while I fart
Help
into a
me,
balloon.
help me, penis one Kenobi. You're my only.
Penis Obi-Wan Kenobi farted into a balloon and he became a Jedi.
I am so sorry. for
Help me,
listening
totally known Kenobi. You're
Jordy
my only
Nordy Gnome Kenobi farted into a balloon. He became a Jedi and then he said the word.
to this. All right, bye.
Help me, totally one Kenobi. You're
Totally
my
humbly
only
one
dope.
Kenobi. You're
we're
my only
done.
dopey.